champions who did beat the Broncos. What was that score again?
43-8.
43.
No, I'm not sure that really happened. That may be a typo.
It wasn't Peyton, man.
It did happen. It did happen. Look, they're sitting at 500 right now after they lost to the Rams at home. So Russell Wilson, obviously knowing that they lost that game, said they just got tricked. Take a listen.
They got us in the fake punt, you know, and so we trusted our call, and they just made a play, you know. And then the fumble, you know, I thought we had the ball, but I guess not. I don't know. So, you know, I just believe that it's going to turn our way. Like I've always believed. I believe in our team. I believe in who we have. I believe in our fans. I believe in the players we have. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Rams win 28-26. They're now 2-4. Wilson, for his part, rushed for 106 yards on 7 carries and passed for 2 touchdowns. Wilson again saying after the loss he still believes in his team. That's a tough ask. So we asked that question. Do we still believe in said Seahawks? Stephen A., how much trouble are the Seahawks in?
I think the Seahawks are in a little bit of trouble. I don't know, Skip, Kerry, refresh my memory whether or not we're going to get specifically into Percy Harvin as the show wanes.
Sure.
So I'll save it for that.
Okay.
But I will tell you this. Trading Percy Harvin, some of the issues that they've had inside that locker room that are now coming out, it's clear that they don't seem to be the same team. You want to applaud them for acknowledging that if they believe they made a mistake, addressing it or whatever. But I look at yesterday, and I didn't see the same Seahawks team. To get tricked on a punt return that ends up in a 90-yard punt return by Bailey, to the last play where Jeff Fisher, gutsy, incredibly gutsy call by
Was it
calling.
really?
I thought it was gutsy.
I don't know.
I thought it was
you're
gutsy.
1-5. You're what are they, 1-4 going in.
But I'm saying
like
you got to win the game. You got to win the game. You got to win the game.
Just do it.
Listen, you're a game behind Seattle right now.
But you know you're going to lose if you punt. I think you're going to lose.
Well, again, you thought you were going to lose. You felt you were going to lose, but anything could happen because it was only 1 minute and 2 seconds left, if I recall correctly. But it was a fake punt deep in your own territory. I give him credit for making that gutsy call. In the end, I'm looking at Seattle. You were struggling to really, really move the ball. Russell Wilson came alive in the second half. We know that. I'm looking at Marshawn Lynch and these boys. 53 yards rushing on 18 carries. I need more from Marshawn Lynch. I just do. Russell Wilson was the leading rusher, for crying out loud. Yeah, they don't seem to be the same team. And somehow, some way, the intimidation factor, Skip, I think is lacking. I love how Richard Sherman, you know, blocked the pass on the last to Tavon Austin. But, you know, I loved how he did that. But I still don't look at the Legion of Boom as the Legion of Boom right now.
Yep.
They don't seem to have that aura about them. Now, I know Earl Thomas has spoken out and said that we're playing against the officials, too. They need to stay out of the way. Well, you weren't saying that last year when y'all were winning. You're saying it now that you're struggling. You know that officials are going to impact the game in some capacity. You found a way to play around that. Suddenly you can't because you're the Super Bowl champions. Everybody's bringing their A game, no matter which way you slice it. I just don't like what I'm seeing from Seattle right now. They're a good football team. We all know this. They just seem vulnerable. And I don't know if they're going to be able, because Arizona's here. Not sure about San Francisco, but at least they got injuries to fall back on.
They do?
It seems to be a bit of dysfunctionality taking place in Seattle, Skip.
Okay. First of all, before I get to the big picture, the little picture is I believe Seattle would have won this football game if the refs had gotten the right call right, the last call right, which was the fumble that was loose.
Yes.
That was Seattle's
That was Seattle's ball, absolutely.
So they would have hypothetically had the football, 1st and 10 at their 32 with 1 minute and 1 second left.
Got it.
Russell Wilson was playing at an MVP level yesterday.
Second half.
He had thrown for 313, and he had run for 106 yards. Look at that. That's 419 combined yards from your quarterback.
Yeah.
That's spectacular, man. And we had him in the MVP discussion a couple, 3 weeks ago. So if he gets the ball back, he wins that game. But now we're back to the Percy Harvin trade. Do I think it upset that team? I do. And we will talk more about this later in the show.
Yep.
But I'm here to tell you that trade was a bad idea for the Seattle Seahawks.
I agree.
Bad idea. He's too valuable. I know all the bloody backstory to it.
Sure.
It's literally bloody, like
yes.
bloody nose, black
As in
eye.
physical,
okay?
yes.
We'll get into it later.
Okay, we'll get into it later. But you cannot. I picked them to be 15-1. And what did I keep saying when I made that pick? Percy Harvin is my X factor. He is a game breaker. He is a defensive coordinator changer. He's so hard to prep for. He changed the Super Bowl with his kickoff return and a couple of big breakaway runs. Yep. Everywhere he has been, his teams have won. Go back and look at what happened to Percy Harvin in high school. They were in 3 championship games, his sophomore, junior, and senior year. Senior year. And they won 1 of them. And then at Florida, 2 national championships, and he took over the 4th quarter of a championship game. Then his big Super Bowl game, he was big for Brett Favre, Offensive Rookie of the Year. I know he's got issues. You have to manage his issues. That's a huge blow going forward to this offense because it hasn't been very good anyway for the last few weeks. And now the defense. To your point, listen to these numbers. Last year, for the season, they were 1st in defensive efficiency. Right now, they're 21st. How can that be? Last year, they were 1st in pass defense efficiency because they were the Legion of Boom. This year, they're 26th in pass defense efficiency. That's bad. That's wrong. They got all kinds of injuries and ineffectiveness in their offensive line. They can't protect their quarterback, which is why he had to run for 106 yards yesterday. So they have issues that, to me, could have been solved by a Percy Harvin down the stretch. Oh. Does he, when he wasn't, I know he took himself out of some games, but when he played, did he not play hard?
Okay, so this reminds me, and I can't help but thinking about this. We've brought this up before when we were at the ESPYs last year. Michael Robinson on the show.
He did. He said veteran leadership will be missing in the locker room.
He said there's some problems in the locker room, and so it makes me think.
Well, he said there will be.
I don't know if he was referring to maybe what even happened with him in Golden Tate, and like we said.
Oh, maybe he was. I don't know.
But it makes me think he was trying to tell us something without telling us something. But you believe Percy Harvin still the X factor here?
Yeah, huge loss for this team. And it shook them up and effectively cost them this game that they should have won. And going forward, it's going to level the playing field in an NFC West that I thought they would run away with. So all of a sudden, congratulations to Arizona because they got a shot. Right. San Francisco still has a shot.
San Francisco still has a shot because I believe San Francisco is going to be better once they get their horses back on the defensive side of the ball. I think we all know that their identity has been compromised. They've got 3 huge losses in yesterday's game in Smith, Bowman, and Willis. So we know that. We know they're a different defense with those 3 guys. I never saw I would see give up in them. So I'm alarmed by that. And it's indicative. Plus, you heard stories coming out that time about how Harbaugh turned Peyton Manning off because when Peyton Manning went and tried out with the San Francisco 49ers, basically Harbaugh implied that, I've got more zip onto my passes than you do. And how, people say, well, that turned Peyton Manning off. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but that's what they're reporting. It is what it is. In the end, what it comes down to is that you would think that Seattle would be in a better position because of those things, but I don't see that. I see a team that can be exploited because you've got people coming into their house and beating them. I mean, Denver took them to overtime. Dallas smacked them around. Then you come and you lose to St. Louis. Vulnerability is all over the place as far as I'm concerned with the Seattle Seahawks right now, and they're going to have to find a way to get it together.
All right, so same old story, you guys. Dallas Cowboys won again. Another week, another win.